For years, I refused to touch any weights. I was convinced that anything that wasn't running related would literally just slow me down. And then about a year ago, I picked up a dumbbell for the first time, and I can't remember how long. And I'm not even going to exaggerate here when I tell you that within 6 weeks, my slow running pace had dropped by almost 15 seconds per kilometer. Look, same heart rate, same MAF number, same everything. But 15 seconds, boom, just gone like that. So I want to tell you something that might sound like I'm betraying everything that I've talked about on this channel. About a year ago, I started lifting weights. Not cross-training per se, not body weight circuits, actual heavy for me weights. The thing that's driving me crazy is it worked. It actually worked. Look, I've built this entire channel on one idea. Slow down, run aerobically, build an aerobic base, and I'm never going to walk any of it back. Not one bit. But I've realized over the last few months is that I was missing one big piece. I've been doing Maffetone training for over 6 years now, and the results have been, look, you've seen my data if you've seen my other videos, but I'm 3 minutes faster per kilometer than I was when I started it. And I could be faster, but it's been inconsistent back and forth as the years have gone on. But I've run half marathons. I've run a full ultra marathon. I've run marathons, and I've kept my heart rate low, like 136 beats a minute when I ran my ultra. But here's what I didn't tell you because I didn't want to admit it for myself. Last year, my MAF test literally flatlined. Same pace week after week, month after month. It was just nothing else was kind of moving the needle. And I'm getting older. And I was putting in the miles and getting nothing back other than happiness because I'm happy when I run. And look, the first thing I did was what any stubborn runner does. I ran more. I added more kilometers, more miles. I pushed longer. I ran further. And you know what happened? Nothing, actually. Worse than nothing, actually. I started feeling my legs were heavier. Well, you know when you go to the beach and you pick up wet sand and the sand is so heavy? That's what my legs felt like. And felt like I was getting slower. And my heart rate was drifting higher on the same routes that I'd been running for years. Yes, I was inconsistent. Yes, there was other things happening. But still, I thought I could go back to the routes and it would continue to work. But there was pieces of the puzzle that I hadn't discovered yet. I was spending so much energy in my thoughts about all of this. My watch was showing me paces that I hadn't seen since my first year of doing the Maffetone method. And the worst part, I was starting to think, maybe this is it. Maybe I've squeezed everything I can out of slow running. Now, I've ran faster in warm-up laps than some of my MAF runs during this stretch. And that's humbling, I'll tell you. Full stop, humbling. So I started reading, not running magazines. I was looking at what the research actually says about aging runners, because that's the piece that I wasn't thinking about. Look, I'm not 30 anymore. And if you're watching this, you're probably not either. Here's what I found after about age 40, and this is backed by a lot of research and in my experience. You start losing muscle mass, not like a little bit, about 3 to 8% per decade if you do nothing about it. And it's the first thing to go. The fast twitch muscle fibers, the ones that give you that little kick at the end of a race, the ones that keep your stride stable when your legs are tired at about kilometer 18. Think of it like this. Your aerobic base is like upgrading your car's engine from a V4 to a V8. I've been doing that for 6 years and it's been incredible. But what I didn't realize is that while I was building that engine, the chassis was slowly rusting. The frame was getting weaker, and no amount of running fixes that, in my opinion, my experience. Strength training is the chassis, guys. It's what holds the whole thing together. Now we have a 4-month progression here. So I started, and I want to be really real with you here. This is what it looked like. Month one was a disaster. I went to the gym twice a week. And I did what most basic stuff, like the squats, the deadlifts, the lunges, light weights, just trying to learn the form again because I'd been out of it for a while. And I was sore. Like, I can't walk down the stairs sore. My runs that month sucked. They were terrible. My legs felt like they were made of concrete. And my MAF pace actually got worse. I added about 10 seconds per kilometer because my legs just had nothing in them. And I thought, this is exactly what I was afraid of. Strength training is making me slower. Now, month two, something started to shift. The soreness stopped being consistent. It moved away from I can't walk to I failed yesterday's workout. And here's the first thing I noticed. My running cadence changed. I wasn't shuffling as much. My stride felt, I don't know how else to describe it, more stable, right? Like my legs actually were holding me up instead of just kind of catching me as I was falling. And month three, my data started talking to me. I did my monthly MAF test, and for the first time in over a year, the number moved 5 seconds per kilometer faster. Same heart rate, same route, 5 seconds just showed up, and I thought, okay, that's interesting, but let's not get too excited here. 5 seconds could be the weather, it's nice out. It could be a good day, I'm feeling pretty good. But month 4, I ran the same MAF test again, and I dropped another 10 seconds. That's 15 seconds total from where I was stuck. 15 seconds per kilometer at the same heart rate. Look, over a half marathon, that's almost 3 minutes I was leaving on the table for a year because I refused to pick up a single weight. Now here's where it gets complicated, because this is not just a, look, I'm going to add some squats and everything's going to get better kind of story. That's not it at all. First, you can't just add strength training on top of your current volume and expect it to work. I had to cut my weekly kilometers by probably about 15% in that first month, and maybe even 20, because look, your body doesn't know the difference between running stress and gym stress. It's literally just all stress. And if you pile strength training on top of your full schedule, you're going to break down, full stop. Now, maybe the elites can get away with stuff like that, but I definitely can't. Second, the type of strength training matters. I'm not talking about doing bicep curls. I'm talking about compound movements, squats, deadlifts, step-ups, lunges, movements that load your legs and your core at the same time. 2 days a week, that's it. 45 minutes. You don't need to become a gym rat. And third, and this is the one that nobody warns you about, the first month is going to make you feel like you made a literally huge mistake. Your runs are going to feel worse. Your numbers are not going to look too good. They may even go backwards. And every fiber of your being is going to tell you to stop. Don't do it. That's the chassis rebuilding. It's the ugly before the beautiful. So this is where I've landed on this. Slow running built my aerobic engine. It gave me my V8 engine, and I will never stop doing it. That's the foundation. That's the thing that changed my life. But strength training is what's going to keep this V8 engine running as I get older. It's the support structure. It's the thing that keeps your stride from falling apart at kilometer 15. That's the thing that protects your knees and your hips and your lower back from the thousands of impacts that running puts on your body every single time you go out for a run. Zone 2 gave me the concept, right? Maffetone method gave me the patience, and now strength training is giving me the longevity. That's the three-legged stool. Take one away and eventually it's going to wobble. I wish someone had told me this years ago. Maybe some of you did tell me and I didn't listen because the ego was in the way. And if that was one of you, then I'm sorry. David, I know you've told me so many times. And look, I know what some of you are thinking. Dave, I barely have time to walk. Now you want me to go to the gym too? Look, I get it. I really do. But here's the thing that I think a lot all the time. Every kilometer we run is evidence. It's data, okay? Not of talent. I've never really had any of that. But something more important. It's evidence that we show up. We make it a choice to take care of this one body that we've been given. And the older I get, the more I realize that I'm taking care of it means more than just running. The research is really clear on this. Runners who strength train have fewer injuries, better bone density, and they keep running longer. Not necessarily faster, but longer. And honestly, at this point in my life, longer is what I care about. I want to be running when I'm 70, when I'm 80. Right? I want to run myself into, I don't know, whatever comes next. And now I believe that the only way that happens is if I do more than just run. Look, the data is real, and the way my body feels day to day is completely different. So here's what I want to know from you. Have you added strength training to your running? And if you have, what changed? Drop it in the comments below because I want to see what's happened for you. And if you haven't started yet, literally, what's holding you back? You got to be honest with yourself. I read everybody's comments. I'm going to keep tracking this, and I'm going to do a follow-up video in a few months with more data because I want to see where this goes. I want to see where my body can take me. And like I always say, get out and run.